Hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of The Report. I'm Fennell. His life story is a compelling one, to say the least. It started in hard times in Philadelphia, and when he was just 5 years old, this young kid by the name of Maxwell Antonio Loach lost his mother. Maxwell and his older brother were taken in by their aunt, who really couldn't afford to take care of them. She then made an unthinkable decision. She told Maxwell's older brother to get rid of him. So he took little Maxwell to the Ben Franklin Parkway and left him there on that busy highway. Catholic Social Services took him in, and the nuns there gave him a new name, Matthew, after the saint, and Franklin, after the parkway where he was found. And that's where his story starts to change. 15 years later, Matthew Franklin becomes a professional boxer. He converts to Islam, changes his name to Matthew Saad Muhammad, and becomes the light heavyweight champion of the world.
Light heavyweight champion of the world, Matthew Saad Muhammad in black trunks, defends his title against tough Lottie Mawali. Champion Muhammad slipping those punches masterfully. A vicious left uppercut rocks Mawali, and he crashes backward to the canvas.
Matthew Saad Muhammad would reign as champion from 1977 to 1981, successfully defending his titles 13 times, 12 of which came by knockout, like you just saw there. He was elected into the International Boxing Hall of Fame, and that was just another phase of his life. Hard times would come back around for the former champ. And these days, Matthew Saad Muhammad is fighting a bigger opponent, homelessness, and he's dedicating his life to this new battle. Former light heavyweight champion Matthew Saad Muhammad is here with me to discuss his legacy, his life, and what's ahead in the future. Welcome, champ, to the program.
Pleased to be here. I'm just so happy to be here. It's been so long being in front of you kind of guys. I'm ready to knock out homeless.
You're ready to knock out homelessness. Yeah. And I want to talk about that. You have a very, very interesting and compelling story, and it's filled with ups and downs and ups and downs, and there's a lot to be taken from that. And let's go back to the beginning of your story, when we talked about the young kid who was coming up. When you talk about the hard way, this was really the hard way, until you were taken in by those nuns. You still remember those nuns, and you said what the lady's name?
I remember still some of the things that had happened. The sister who took me in, the Catholic nuns on the Parkway, was Sister Bernadette. Sister Bernadette. I remember her, and she was a very nice person towards me and today. And a lot of things I had just forgotten about, but I do remember Sister Bernadette taking me in and treat me just like other kids.
Sure. And you got into boxing. How did that happen?
Wow. Well, that was because I was maybe 1 or 2 blocks away from a very vicious gang at that time. I thought was pretty rough. It was called 13th and South Street Gang. But in order for me to go through that school, I had to go through that area. And I got beat up. So I got tired of getting beat up through that area. I went to a gym. It's called Junior Gym. And I met a man by the name of Nick Belfieri at that time, and I started training and working out, and from that point on, I ain't nobody mess with me no more.
Yeah, because you found out, hey, I'm pretty good at this. I'm pretty good at this boxing, and so you started to box, and that really was a big change in your life when you learned to take on responsibility, to carry your own weight, and so forth. Do you remember that phase of your life and what it was like going through that?
Just a little bit. Trying to remember, it's been so long ago, but I know I had a lot of good times. It was a lot of good times. Some of my memories vanished.
I understand.
I had a lot of good times.
Believe me, champ, it happens to all of us, and we haven't been in the ring like you have. Let me refresh your memory, and we're going to roll another fight. I want you to watch this, and I'm going to kind of walk you through what's happening with it, and then I want to get your comment. You haven't seen some of this stuff in a long time. No. I know. I understand that. So watch this. Now, it was July 13th, 1980. Matthew Saad Muhammad versus a tough Mexican challenger, Yaqui Lopez, in their second fight. This is the WBC light heavyweight title fight, and it was Ring Magazine's Fight of the Year. Now, Muhammad was losing the first 8 rounds here, but then he started to reach down deep inside, started to remember those gangs in Philadelphia, and by the 9th round, he started to turn this fight around, and then it really would change. You see, he begins to land an overhead right to the head there, and Lopez all of a sudden is wondering what is going on. He knocks him down 3 times with sharp right jabs, and the Mexican lightweight heavyweight champion goes to the canvas, and he would go down a few more times. You're going to see he gets back up here, but then he comes back over, and about at this point, champ, you know you've got him, don't you?
Yeah, man, he's on the run. He's on the run right now. He's just trying to find out where he can lay down.
He's finding a spot to lay down, and then watch this.
Wicked. Awesome. That's how I describe it. Couldn't take it no more.
He couldn't take it
Done.
anymore.
Over, out.
You're standing over in the corner there and watching your work, but it's not over just yet. Champ, here you come again.
This guy was just as determined as I was. He got up and he got back down again. He got up again because he wanted to be some kind of hero towards his people. But this guy, he was a good contender. He was a good challenger.
Yeah,
Great challenger.
Yaqui Lopez was indeed a fantastic fighter. I mean, in this particular bout, you're proving to be too much for him. This was your second fight.
This was my second title defense, I believe. It's been so long ago. But I fought Yaqui Lopez twice. This is the second time we're fighting. And this man was ready. He must have hit me with 20 unanswered punches, man.
20 unanswered punches.
You'll see it in
well,
this
there, he couldn't answer your last punch right there. That was the punch that couldn't be answered because the referee calls it off. Now, you haven't seen this video in, what did you say, 20 years since you've seen this?
It's been so long ago. And I tell you, I was a Hall of Famer in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, and I saw him. He came to my inductory.
He came to you, to your induction into the Hall of Fame.
Yes, he was so happy that I invited him there by my brother Joe Johnson. He brought him from Mexico, where we come from, and he was just so happy.
Yeah. Wow, that has to be something to be able to look back at your life so many years later and to see this video, because your life is chronicled on tapes like that and fights like that, and you are revered in the boxing community. Let me just give you the snapshot, as we say in the boxing world, the tale of the tape for your life. Take a look at this, and this is the tale of the tape for you. You were born, of course, in Philadelphia. We know that. You compiled a record of 39 wins, 16 losses, with 29 wins overall by knockout. You won the NABF and the WBC light heavyweight title, and you beat, by the way, the same person, Marvin Johnson, to win both those fights. You remember Marvin Johnson?
I remember Marvin Johnson very well.
Yeah.
But I got to stop with one thing.
What?
Some of those losses was overseas, so I done very well fighting those type of fights.
Right. So you didn't. The ones overseas you didn't count as much.
I don't
as
count those. No, sir.
Okay. Let's see. You won the title of the NABF in '77, then you won the WBC in '79. You defended both titles 13 times, with 12 of them coming by knockout, champ. So you didn't believe in waiting for the judges to render a decision. You took it into your own hands.
I had to, and the kind of fights that I had, it was just, it was me, win or lose. And I had to take the choice of winning and being on top and staying on top.
Well, you stayed on top. Again, Ring Magazine voted your fights, some of the fights of the year, voted you as the one of the top 10 light heavyweight champions of all time.
Wow.
One of the top 10 light heavyweight champions of all time. They put you in the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1998. And boy, not everyone can say that.
Yeah, you know what? I just am so happy that you guys give me a blessing and chance to come back and talk to you guys. I'm just here to I want to help the homeless people.
Well, and we're going to get to that, because that's so important, because that is really the next part of your life. After all of that, after all the accolades, and after all the championship belts and the celebrity stardom and that lifestyle, and after all of that huge success, you went rock bottom again.
Yes.
Even to the point of being homeless.
Mm-hmm.
What happened, champ? What happened? What's your story there?
I got to think for a long time just to try to remember my thoughts. But I think I went through a little down for a minute, and I tried to redeem myself because I knew what I was going through, just hard times, man.
What happened to the money? What happened to all the people who were surround you and support when times were good?
Well, you know, like said before, man, I just gave it away. I was friendly with a lot of people. They stayed my friends, but in order for me to be around them, I guess I had to give them some money, and that was it. So I just gave money to people who I thought needed it, and it ran out. It just ran out.
And when it ran out, you found yourself looking back around again, wondering what now, where now, how now, right?
Yes, and I still had the encouragement, because I was there before, how to bounce back. I had the courage to bounce back. I could have stayed down. But I didn't want to stay down. I wanted to get back up. I wanted to be something. I wanted to do something. I wanted to be a representative of people, period. Regardless of race, creed, and color, I wanted to show people that once they get knocked down, they can get back up, wherever it is, however it is. You know what I mean? If, you know, they do the right thing. Depending on if you do the right thing, you can always get back up, and that's my theory.
Yeah, and believe me, you are the person who can tell that story. Do you remember your day when you first went into the homeless shelter? Do you even remember that?
Some of the things I just want to talk about because it just reminds me. But I do remember the first day I went to the shelter, people looking at me like, what he doing here? You know, and I kind of like put my head down and I just walked around. I think I might have had a little problem going on in my mind. I was very hurt through the Braxton fighting. I was just trying to find myself.
Dwight Braxton.
Yeah, I was just trying to find myself. I was going through some mentally problems too, because you know that fight was very ferocious. It was very ferocious, and I took a lot of punches, so it put me back for a while.
Yeah, and believe me, and we remember though that again, you talk about some of the all-time classic battles. We showed the fight with Yaki Lopez, but your fights with Dwight Braxton. My goodness, I still feel the pain just watching them here and now. And so you said that took a toll on you back then, mentally even, just to try and figure out what was what.
Sometimes I wondered, I was at the shelter. This is the first time I ever was at the shelter. That shelter helped me. It gave me a sense of being something, you know, like, you know, what am I going to do now? You know, I'm here. And I wanted just to show everybody that, you know, you get knocked down, man, you get back up. That's if you want to. You gotta have the encouragement. You gotta have the willpower to get back up. A lot of times I've been there before.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not gonna let myself go like this before. I'm not gonna let myself get like this. And I got back up. I got myself together. I cleaned my act up, and I'm okay now.
And you learned a trade too. I mean, you're a roofer.
I learned to trade. I learned how to roof. Yep.
Yeah. How do you like that?
It beats $1, you know, and it's good work though. But you can really do something with this.
So
make a living.
you were able to pull yourself back up and to rely on your past experiences and the hard roads that you had traveled to get to where you'd come from. People might say the school of hard knocks. Hey, you could have said you wrote that course.
I tell you,
literally.
That's right, for sure. Because I gotta give respect to Local 32 because Local 30 did help me. It was a union that was been out there for a long time, and I just worked for Local 30 as a longshoreman. It was a good job.
Yeah, and so you began to transform your life again. How do you feel now as you sit here and you talked about everything you'd been through and you had to really pull yourself back up from the bootstraps? How do you feel today?
Today, you know, I would just like to try to help people. When I help people, I help myself. It gives me a sense of to want to do things for people. I want to get behind this program that the HRD is having for the homeless shelter, Knock It Out, the homeless shelter, and that is the most important thing we can do right now. And I just want to be able to share that with people.
And I would imagine one reason you're so passionate about that is because people, and we've talked about this on this broadcast before, people tend to look down on you when they see that you're homeless and can't find your way. Did you see that? Did they look down on you like, oh my goodness, you remember this guy? Look at him now.
Yeah.
Get him out of the way. He's just, oh, what a shame.
No, it wasn't really like that because, hey, we be fighting, I guess. Tell you the truth, but I had the sense of humor, and I would smile. That's my little swagger. And it don't bother me. Nothing bothers me when I put my mind to it. So once I made my mind up to do things and I do it, I'll do the best.
Is that the key part here?
Yeah.
To be able to reach inside, to
Yeah,
find
man.
it wherever it is and say, okay, this won't be the end of my story. I'm still writing it. And to, as we've said before,
Right.
to replay back the tape of
Right.
what you had already been through and to
Right.
and to use that energy.
That's right.
And also to get help along the way. What about the boxing community? Did they reach out to you and say, hey, look, champ, we know you're in hard times, we want to help?
They done the best they could, and I won't.
You're in the Hall of Fame after all.
Now I'm in the Hall of Fame, and it's still to me embarrassing, but it's gonna be a lot of good times coming up now. I believe that HRD is gonna work with me. I believe other things are gonna come to me, and I just gotta believe in myself, believe in the program, and believe in what we're gonna do today.
Yeah,
it's gonna be all right, guys.
So you don't really. You're uncomfortable going back there and lingering in that past
In a
for too
sense.
long.
Yeah.
Like we say, we show the boxing tape and we show the fights. You said you hadn't seen that stuff in 20
Yeah.
years because you really do. Is that still a part of your life even now, or you're so far past it, it's not
I
even
got
fun?
out of the boxing world. It's not like it used to be, and I know for a fact what I was doing and why I did it. For me, at the time as a kid, I enjoyed beating up people. I used to love dropping people down, just seeing them crumble in front of me. That used to be a thrill for me. But then I got out of that type of stuff. you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, again, we've been saying that you have a new mission now, a new fight that you're doing now, and that's to help fight against homelessness. We want to talk about that, and we're going to bring someone in who's going to help tell that part of the story. But we got to take a break here, so we want you to sit tight, champ, until we can get right back. You're watching Art Fennell Reports. We're going to go to our neutral corners, and we're going to come back out swinging all over again with the champ, Matthew Saad Muhammad, the champ, fighting Yaki Lopez, a right and then another left, and then eventually down goes Lopez. Man, I remember those fights.
Yeah, but he was
Braxton was he was smaller than you, but built like Joe Frazier with the.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Were you scared of him?
No, man. I loved it. Let it come on, baby. Where you at? Yeah.
Oh man.
But it was all good times.
Yeah. Hey Brian. Okay, talk to me about time. Coming back.
Sister Brandon.
Number 2, he's got it on.
Got me?
You talk for him a little bit?
Sure. 1, 2, 3. Check. Check. Sibilance. Sibilance.
Kevin, I'm going to
check.
get you to begin by telling me about
Sure.
resources. Welcome back to The Report. I'm Art Fennell, talking today with the former champ, the former light heavyweight champion of the world, Matthew Saad Muhammad, about his life and legacy, and what a legacy it is. Also here is Kevin Roberts, communications specialist for the Resources for Human Development. And Kevin and Matthew are working together on a special event that we're going to talk about in just a moment. You know, and I want to get back to you for just a second here, Champ, because, you know, when you talk about the classic Philadelphia fighters, boy, they've been some good ones who've come off the streets of Philadelphia. You're right there on that list. What makes the Philadelphia fighter so feared by other fighters all over the world?
Man, let me tell you something. It goes back when I used to watch this young kid coming up, Tyrone Everett. He was my man. He was a good fighter, southpaw. And I used to watch him along with Muhammad Ali. He was my idol. And I just looked at this guy like Tyrone Everett, and I saw how he fought, and his hands were so fast. I said, you know what? This guy gonna be a champ. You know what I mean? So I think it's just the way that people grow up and grow into boxing where they get a style of their own. And they don't go for no letdowns. They don't take nothing they don't take no for an answer.
Yeah, it's not in your DNA to give up until you can bring it to the crowd.
Bring it, baby.
We talked about your stint as a homeless person. You're not in the shelter anymore. You were able to, as you said, you got out of that. You were able to pull yourself out of it. And you met Kevin along the way. Now, Kevin, you're with Resources for Human Development. Tell me what that is.
Yeah, Resources for Human Development is a national nonprofit human services corporation with headquarters here in Philadelphia. And we operate in 14 states, doing things from working with developmentally delayed kids to art programs for people with intellectual disabilities to addiction recovery programs and, of course, homelessness programs. And one of the things we do here in Philadelphia is we are the publisher of One Step Away, Philadelphia Street
Who we've
newspaper.
had on this program.
Indeed. And that's actually how I met Matthew.
And that's how you met Matthew. What was that first meeting like?
Well, we were talking about his life story, and this is kind of how it occurred to me, and I pitched this to him, is that I think there's real value in what Matthew has to say and the story that he tells and the story that he's lived. In that when you talk about working with people who are homeless, talking about people who are down, who are damaged, who are really struggling, and it's so important to give those people hope, to make sure that they know that there's something better out there for them. If they just can keep getting back up and keep going forward, that's when you have a chance. And that's Matthew's whole life story.
Yeah, sure. And Champ, when you first met Kevin, did you like him right away, or did you say, let me feel this guy out first
I
here?
said, look at him for a while first, but then he seemed to be all right. And we took it like that. You know, he showed me that he's real.
Yeah.
By producing.
And that's important, isn't it? Because I'm sure that throughout the course of your life and career, a lot of people wanted to get into your life who weren't real, who were just trying to join the party, and you have to weed through them.
True. He brought it. He brought what he wanted to show me, and he brought what he was trying to say. So that was real to me. I can deal with that.
Yeah.
I mean, the man is real.
Yeah, well, that's so important. You guys are doing this event called Out Homelessness because that's clearly your new passion now, and with obvious reason. We certainly understand that. Kevin, you're on board with this whole thing. What's this event going to be all about?
Well, it's really exactly that. It's a community effort to knock out homelessness in a way that gives people hope, helps people, gives them the tools to rebuild themselves. And that's why we're so fortunate to be working with Matthew, who's just fantastic and is so committed to this effort because he's seen what people have to go through. He's been down himself, and now he's got his feet under him and he's going in the right direction. And when I pitched this to him, again, we were so fortunate that he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Because at this stage of his life that he wanted to be doing the right thing and helping people and giving back. To me, that's unbelievable. And it's absolutely a pleasure to be the vehicle for him.
Let's put up the graphic right now because we want to help you promote this because this is important and obviously it's important. Again, it's called Knockout Homelessness, April 28th. From 7 to 11 p.m. It's going to be held at Chickies and Pete's. That's at 1526 Packer Avenue. Champ, you're going to be there hosting the event, but you got some friends coming to help you as well. Darren Dalton, Dutch is going to be there. Smokin' Joe Frazier is going to be there to help you as well. And boy, that's two really good names right there who are with you on this. You see the website, www.osa.philly.org. So you called your friends and they said, look, we're going to be there with you.
Oh yeah, I want to get Bernard, but he's who's that?
Bernard Hopkins.
He's
in training now.
Yeah, but he's the perennial fighter. Bernard's always fighting.
He's ready though.
Yeah, well, he's always
so
ready. He's proven he's the ultimate Iron Man.
And we're so thrilled to have Joe Frazier, who literally did it because Matthew asked him. Because it was for Matthew, he agreed to show up. And we're incredibly gratified to the whole community that's come out and wanted to help and support us.
And that's your Philadelphia. That's your Philadelphia coming back around all over again.
I tell you, I love Philly, man. And this is why I should have never left. I had to leave, but I come back. I have a package. I have a plan for the people. Thanks to Kevin and HRD. We're going to knock out homelessness.
Would could you see yourself as being the face of homelessness or for the homeless community? I mean, the champion of the causes and all of that stuff?
I got to say this. It was because my friend Jose, he told me about Kevin. He told me about the whole situation. And I did it on the strength of that. And it started coming back to me.
Well, good things come back around to good people, and what goes around comes around in this case, and let's just hope that this is really going to be good. Kevin, thanks for being here. Good luck with this program, and Champ, we're all pulling for you. I see that fist there.
I can't wait, man.
You still got it? Do you still itch to fight? Huh? Come on.
Yeah, sometimes. Don't hit me now.
Huh?
Don't hit me.
No, I should be saying, don't you hit me. Believe me.
Listen, I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to come back on this show.
Yeah, well, thank you, Champ. And again, all the best to you, man. We are all pulling for you on this. Thank you as well for being there. As always, I'm Art Fennell. We'll see you again next time on The Report.